Welcome to Adobe Illustrator CC 2021 Class We're in a Book Chapter 00, which is a quick tour of Adobe Illustrator. And we're going to go ahead and create this ice cream today. So let's go ahead and close that down. Make sure that you are in Adobe Illustrator. In Illustrator, let's go ahead and do a File and New. We're going to be creating a new preset today. So we're going to go ahead and grab the letter preset. Let's go ahead and change that over to inches. And in inches, we've got 8.5 by 11. We're going to change that up just a little bit. Our orientation is going to be landscape. So let's go ahead and, where does it have us do it? Oh, we are doing 8.5 by 11. Sorry, I'm working on another thing in my head. All right, so we've got one artboard. We're ready to go. Let's go ahead and say create. All right, I'm going to go ahead and go to my properties panel. I'm going to go ahead and turn my rulers on. Make sure those are in inches. They are. Let's go ahead and do a save as. So file, save as. Go ahead and find your folder where you've got all of your lesson assets. So mine are on my desktop in my revised tutorials for Adobe Illustrator. And this is lesson 00. So I'm going to go ahead and name it first initial, last name, underscore Adobe Illustrator, classroom in a book. And this is chapter 00. And we're going to go ahead and say save. All right, so we can go ahead and make sure, if you get this one, just go ahead and say okay. First thing we're going to do is go ahead and start drawing our shape for our ice cream. So let's make ssure we're in our window. Let's come down here to workspace and let's make sure we're in our essentials workspace. We're all in the same place. All right, now let's go ahead and do a view and a fit artboard in window. So that's about, not showing. Here it is, blind today. Fit artboard in window. So now we've got this white area. It's called the artboard. This is just kind of think about it as your paper or your poster where you're going to be doing things. Outside is called your pasteboard. So let's go ahead and find our rectangle tool. On the toolbar under rectangle is something called an ellipse. An ellipse is also a circle. So we're going to go ahead and draw a couple of circles. So let's go ahead over here. I'm going to click and hold my mouse. I'm going to hold my shift key at the same time so it does a perfect circle. I'm going to drag down until it shows I've got about 1.5 inches with my smart guide. I'm not going to worry if you get a little bit too big. Then you release your mouse, then you release your shift key. All right, then let's go ahead and make a copy of that. So let's go up to our circle is still selected. It's got the bounding box on it. Let's go to edit and copy and edit and paste in place. So now I've got 2 of those. I'm going to go ahead and grab this blue right here in the middle and drag that other circle over. And you see I get my smart guides that tell me I'm intersecting. And I'm going to go ahead and make that one just a little bit bigger. So I'm going to hold my shift key and grab and make it just a little bit bigger so it's about 2 inches or so. Okay. All right, now with that one still selected, we're going to go ahead and make one more ice cream scoop. So I'm going to do a Control or Command C to copy. I'm going to do Control or Command V to paste. And so I've got my third one. I'm going to take and grab from the center point and kind of make it the ice cream behind. And let's go ahead and make sure we deselect. It's okay that it's on top of it. Deselect either by going Select, Deselect, which is down here, or you can just click on the pasteboard to make sure nothing's selected. Let's do a Control S to save. So let's go ahead and make some color to our ice cream. So I'm going to go ahead and drag a selection all the way around my circles. So I'm just going to hold my mouse and drag down. Let's go ahead and go to the fill color box. In my fill color box, I'm going to go ahead, which is on the properties panel, I'm going to go ahead and choose a color. Let's go ahead and make some orange sherbet. So pick one of the orange colors. And while we're still showing, we can kind of see here is the orange that we just chose, a little bit bigger. All right, we can do escape to hide that panel. Now let's go ahead and edit the stroke. The stroke is the outline or the border. So with that, we want to go ahead and change it. So let's go to our stroke, and we're going to click on the word stroke, which is going to open up our panel. Let's go ahead and make our stroke weight 6 points. So let's come down here to just 6. We're going to make it really fat. We're going to make it align to outside. So you've got align stroke. You've got align to center, align to inside, align to outside. We want align to outside. And let's go ahead and hit escape and close that panel. So next thing we're going to do is work with a few layers. So layers allow us to easily select and work with artwork. Let's go to Window and come down here to Layers. All right, it's going to go ahead and open up our Layers panel. So let's go ahead and you can see we've got one layer right now. On our layer are our 3 shapes. So let's go ahead and create a new layer button. So let's hit the button here at the bottom. And we're going to call this new layer. We're going to double click in it and call it text. And hit return to make sure it enters. All right, now we're going to go ahead and make sure we're all in the right place. Let's go to our shape builder tool. And we're going to put some text on some text layers and build some shapes. So we're going to go ahead to our 3 circles that are still selected. We want to actually be on our layer 1 because that's where we're building this ice cream. And let's go ahead and grab our shape builder. So let's go ahead and our shape builder is about halfway down. Shape builder is going to allow you to combine these different shapes. So we want to actually combine some of these to make them into the ice creams. So let's go ahead, press a shift key. We're going to drag across a circle to create, we want to combine these 2 bottom circles. So I'm going to hit shift. I'm going to drag across and it's going to let me grab all the pieces of that. And so now it looks kind of like I've got a cloud. It's okay that I've got my stroke doing something a little bit wonky. We're going to fix that. And so let's go ahead with our selection tool and select the whole, undo. Let's grab our selection tool and grab the whole thing. Let's go back here into properties and let's go ahead and change that stroke to be aligned to center. So let's click on the word stroke and change it to center. So now it's going to go ahead and line those up better for us. And let's do a select, deselect, and do a Control S to save. That is an awfully wide stroke. Anyway, that's what they want. All right, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to work with types. So let's go ahead and switch back to that layers panel, to our text layer. And let's grab our type tool. And with our type tool, let's go ahead toward the bottom part of the artboard. We're going to get some what's called lorem ipsum text. It just kind of tells us what the text is going to look like. So let's go ahead and write ice cream bar. All right, so now let's go to our properties panel. And in properties, let's go ahead and change this to, let's grab our selection tool so we can grab our whole text. So let's, we've got the box. Let's go ahead and change that box from Myriad Pro. And we're going to go ahead and see some other fonts. Let's see if they've got one called Oswald. All right, I've got an Oswald, so I'm going to go ahead and do my Oswald regular. Now for me, I've already activated this one. So you might have a little tiny cloud that says activate like this one does, where you would need to actually go through and turn it on. So if you need to turn it on, go ahead, make sure you're connected to the internet to make that work. And I'm going to go ahead on my Oswald regular and click and choose that one. And let's go ahead and change that point type up to about 34 or so. So I can't type in 34, but I can go ahead into my box and hit 34 and enter. So that'll give us that choice. All right, let's go ahead and hit OK. So we've got that. We're ready to go. So while we're in there, we've got our activated fonts. Let's go into our font family. And let's change the tracking. The tracking is your space between letters. It's that little one that says V/A. And let's go ahead and make it really, really far apart. So this is 200. They want to go ahead and do 400. That's going to be really huge. All right, let's go 400. Whoa, not that. All right, so it's really spread apart. And then we're going to go ahead and do a file save, Control S and save. And now we're going to warp that text. So to warp it is to bend it. So we've got our selection tool, we've got it selected. Let's go ahead and do a copy and paste. So edit, copy, then edit, paste, and we're going to get a second one. So we're going to go ahead and take that one over to this section of our, don't worry about aligning at this point, we're going to fix it. So in this one, we're going to go ahead and write toppings galore. So I'm going to grab my text tool, highlight the whole thing by triple clicking. Toppings, I want it to be all caps. So let's go ahead and we're going to bend that. So now let's go ahead with our selection tool, grab that toppings galore. We want to go to object. We want to come down here to envelope distort, and we want to make with warp, and we want to arc it, and we want that bend to be about 35%. Make sure your preview's turned on so you can actually see what it's doing. And we're going to say OK. So the text is now a shape, but it's still editable. And we can go ahead and drag with our selection tool, drag it down above our ice cream. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this video into another part. So I'll pick you up and we'll start playing with our ice cream cone.